What's up, people? I'm Xogue, and welcome to the first video of my Minecraft creation series. Now, I know a lot of people hate these little intro things, so we're just going to skip right to it. This thing looks so much better at night. But this is what I'm going to show you how to make. Now, what is this? Now, if you're unfamiliar with Applied Energistics 2, this is part of the new system of working with things. First of all, you have the control blocks, the ME controllers, that allow you to have more channels and therefore more devices in your network. So something like this would be incredibly handy. And I use it in my Mod Sauce series. Next, you have all of the ME interfaces with the molecular assemblers. Now, what these allow you to do is this is part of auto crafting. And then inside, if you see inside here, let's go ahead and jump right in here. You see a whole bunch of what they call crafting storage. So this crafting storage, well, it's awesome because that is what you need. Every auto crafting thing that you try to use requires a bit of crafting storage. The system pulls it out and stores it inside of these crafting storage units here. And then you have coprocessors that just kind of help. So you can kind of sort of see how to make this. And this is just something I kind of came up with in my world, and I found it really awesome. So I figured I'd do a little video about it, showing you exactly how to make it. So the first thing that you need to do is basically, these are all the supplies you need. You need 68 ME controllers, 72 ME interfaces. You need a lot of stuff. 78 molecular assemblers, 24 co-processing units, 10 4K crafting storage, and 19 64K crafting storage. Now, as I said, you can kind of see how to put this thing together, but just in case it's a little bit more difficult, let's go ahead and do this. And we're just going to make a separate one. So the basic idea is that the furthest you can go away in a single row of ME controllers is 7. See how it's technically active? Now, this is an interesting little fact. You see how it's technically has power right now? It'll still work. But what it did is basically these ME controllers actually store a little bit of power, and now you see it turned off. So then we can go over, 7. Like this guy right here. I know I'm kind of jumping subjects. I could break this and this will stay powered for a while. Because the ME controller in itself acts kind of like an energy cell. It stores up energy and, there you go. So as long as you're outputting enough energy into it, you don't really need the energy cell if you're going to use something similar to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hook this guy up real quick just so we can see when the pattern changes. So when I go too far, it turns red, it means I've gone too far. And I can pretty much just kind of build it that way. But the basic idea is that you're doing 7, 7, 7 all the way across. And then you also go up by 7. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, whoa, fly, 5, 6, 7. You go one more and it breaks. So then you come over. Oh, it broke. Pretty much just that simple. But this system right here has allowed me, I have yet to run out of crafting storage for any of my, auto crafting recipes. I've always had a processor available for it. And those of you that know a little bit about this thing know that that's not necessarily the easiest thing to achieve, in the game. So there is a little bit of an issue because as you see how much storage there is, how many ME controllers, how much everything there is in this setup, it's going to take quite a bit of power. But basically what you do is you make a frame just like this, 7 by 7 by 7. You take your ME controller or your ME interfaces and you can just kind of circle it all the way around pretty much every other block. And you do that on all the sides. Just like this. And then once you get all of the sides filled in, you take your molecular assemblers and fill in the gaps. And then on top of these ME interfaces, just like this. And then once you have every side filled in, just like this, this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. It's not easy to tell exactly how I set up the middle of that, the cube over there. So what you do is basically you just pick a side really, and you start with your crafting co-processing units, which like I mentioned, you need 24 of, and then you just plop those on in every single interface of that side. And then after you do that, you spin around to the other side and do the exact same thing. And then you take your 4Ks and you need 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you take your 64Ks, 19 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Did I miss one or did I miscount? I must have miscounted. Oh, nope. Here it is. Apparently I didn't count completely. And then one there. There you go. There's your 19. So after you have this, you're pretty much good to go. All you got to do is find your way out. In my in my survival mod saw series, I actually have an elevator block in here, which I think is a really neat way to get in there, especially if you have to build it slowly. Like I said, it does draw quite a bit of power, so you might have to worry about that, but overall, you're pretty much done. The only thing you need to do now is just hook up your wires. For example, if you get some dense cables, we're just going to take blue, because blue is cool. I like blue. And you can pretty much draw off of any side of this, and with every single one of these, you have 32 channels that you can play with. You don't have to worry about what side you draw it out of, where you're coming from, anything like that. Everything can be managed by this one cube. Now comes to the point where we kind of have to name it. What are we going to call this? Well, I did actually ask for names in my series, and a few comments came in about it. The first one that I was going to go with was called The Grid. But instead of doing that, because that doesn't sound as awesome as this thing is, we're going to go with the Hypercube, which is another, I think the same comment, actually. But yeah, so the Hypercube, it is. This thing is now called the Hypercube. Feel free to use it in your worlds, change it, alter it, whatever. You know, all I ask is that if you do use something like this, refer back to this video, and I would be much appreciated. You know, credit where credit's due. I'm not going to hunch down or anything. It's not really my thing. I'm only using the mod and assembled blocks in a certain pattern. That's pretty much it. But, you know, you refer back to this video, and I will be incredibly happy. But anyway, if you liked the video, please click that like button. You want to see more? Subscribe, comment, favorite, share. Do what you do. Thanks so much for watching.